We begin shaping the tenon. We cut from the bottom up using the tip of the chainsaw, keeping the saw body its lower part as close to the cut as possible. The guide bar acts as a straight edge. The cut is made on the outside of the layout line, completely removing the line as we saw. Make the first cut upward from the middle of the opening, not from the bottom, then cut downward along the pre-cut kerf to a depth of about 0.1 inch, making sure not to go too deep. However, if you plunge slightly deeper than the height of the tenon, it is not a big deal. It will all be covered with insulation and won't affect the structural integrity. Moving on to the bottom part of the opening. Here, start sawing downward, tilting the saw body slightly and moving smoothly down. Do not rush the process or force the chainsaw. A well-sharpened chain sinks in easily under the saw's own weight and requires no extra effort. At the very bottom, where the saw angle relative to the cut becomes negative, you must rev the engine to full throttle. This prevents the bar from kicking out of the cut. When the upper part of the nose contacts the wood, now move to the left side of the opening. Perform the operation in the exact same sequence. Start sawing from the middle of the opening, making a bottom-up cut. All subsequent cuts are made from the top down. Also, note that when sawing at the very top of the opening, the upper part of the nose might touch the wood surface. At this specific point, you should also increase the saw engine speed to maximum throttle. Do not be afraid of the saw or feel tense if the saw attempts to jump a so-called kickback. The chain brake will engage so fast that you won't even have time to react. If the chain suddenly stops moving and doesn't respond to the throttle, the brake has engaged. It triggers regardless of the saw's position and whether your hand touches the brake guard. It activates by inertial force, not just physical contact with the lever. It is flawless protection. To prevent kickback altogether, make sure to keep the engine at full throttle whenever the upper nose of the bar is entering the wood or performing a reverse cut. We cut the tenon on the bottom part of the opening at the transition point where the vertical cut meets the horizontal one. Continue guiding the saw along the kerf line from the top down. At this precise transition from vertical to horizontal, you must also increase the engine speed to maximum throttle to avoid kickback and triggering the chain brake. Because the opening is narrow, we lift the saw body upward. At this moment, you can place a sturdy and stable platform under your feet for more comfortable sawing. While sawing, try to ensure that the bar tip stays on the outside of the layout line. If a slight error occurs in timber framing, deviations of about 1/16 of an inch are considered negligible and can be completely disregarded. Perform the exact same operation on the opposite side. Connecting the cut lines, everything comes with experience and practice. It is impossible to get it perfect on the first try, so before taking on such a critical and almost precision-grade job, it is better to practice first, for example, by cutting an opening 4 inches narrower than the final size. You will get the hang of it. See where you make mistakes and fix them. At first, do everything as slowly and correctly as possible to build muscle memory. Then, your brain's automatic program will kick in. We perform the next tenon shaping operation from the bottom up, keeping the saw body as close to the cut as possible with the shallowest possible bar angle relative to the wall surface. This is necessary to visually track the direction of the guide bar and correct it in time. Make the entire cut from the bottom up without trying to plunge to maximum depth right away. Sink the bar about 1 inch deep. It is like scoring a line with the saw. We cut on the inside of the layout line, shaving it slightly. Just like before, start moving down from the top. Again, do not try to plunge the bar to maximum depth right away. This maintains directional control. You guide the bar along the pre-cut kerf, and the kerf keeps the bar from drifting off course, both vertically and in terms of the plunge angle. At the very bottom of the cut, as you finish, you should also rev the engine to full throttle smoothly. Lift the rear of the saw with a pull towards yourself and back it out of the cut if you cannot reach the required depth at this point right away. It is better to chip away the uncut wood with a chisel to avoid chainsaw kickback. You can also simply chisel out the bottom section instead of sawing it with the chainsaw as shown. Move to the left side of the opening and perform all the operations exactly as we did. On the right side, you need to control 3 factors at once: the saw tilt, the cutting direction along the inside of the layout line, and the plunge depth. Your goal is not to overdo the depth so that you do not accidentally saw off the tenon itself. By plunging gradually, you will see and feel in time when the waste piece of the wall begins to separate from the cut, allowing you to stop before cutting into the tenon core. Follow the same rules when cutting the bottom tenon. Work from the bottom up, making shallow passes on each turn, and use maximum throttle at the plane transitions of the opening. Do not try to do it all in one pass, or you will lose control over the angle, direction, and depth of the cut. Perform all identical operations on the opposite side of the opening. The tenons are ready. When roughing out the opening and shaping the tenon, allowances of 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch are acceptable. For timber framing, these tolerances are absolutely necessary. This is due to the large scale of the workpieces, the dimensions of large diameter logs, and heavy timbers change significantly depending on the ambient relative humidity, and while this work is half carpentry shaping the opening and half joinery making the window and door bucks, the tolerances remain wider than in standard finish woodworking.